wanna ride, so baby get with me, cause this party goes on all night. You never get this right, is when you're rolling with a G, cause this party goes on all night.
Hello and good day, everyone. Welcome to the Real Source Podcast. I'm your host, JD. And today's episode, which is episode 3, we will be discussing what is the real meaning behind the N-word. Now, real meaning is a very subjective way to say it because there's history and then there's what man creates out of history. So, long time ago, when our slave owners were coming to take us from the continent of Africa, namely in a country by the name of Niger, when they were taking these brothers and sisters, they didn't know how to pronounce where they were coming from. So instead of saying Niger, they just shortened it. And because, wicked people come up with wicked names, they decided to call us niggers. Niggers as in Niggers, not Niggas. Now, in the derivative of what those words mean versus what's being said. So the actual meaning behind the word Niger is of God relation, is of king status. Whereas to the word that we use amongst society in the communities, mainly the Black and Hispanic communities, we have a tendency to take that word and use it in a more loving and infecting and enduring aspect. I think a word is based on whatever meaning you choose to give it, besides what already it is and how it's being defined. Too many of us are comfortable with using this word loosely and using it in a matter of, again, affection, when in all actuality, it shows a level of institutionalization and indoctrination to us. As Black people, we've suffered a lot of horrific things along the times that we've been on this planet. And so one of the things that we're really, really good at doing is we're good at taking a bad situation and making it sound like it's a good one, or turning something bad into a good situation, which nigga happens to be that. One of the things that, we try to say, those of us that don't try to use that word as much, is like ninja. What's up, my ninja? How you doing, my ninja? It's still in some form, the base core of it is still going back to the word. It's just we're not using the same word. It's crazy because, my grandmother was a slave. She came out of slavery in the early 40s. And she met my granddad, who came from Mumbai. And they decided, to get together or whatever, and they had my daddy. But what I learned while she was alive is that she said that word was only called by those who worked in the field. Mainly the ones that worked in the field were called that. The, as we quote unquote say, house nigga was not called a nigga. Right? He was given a different status, or the woman was given a different status. So we have to be very careful of the way that we use the words that we use and how we use them. I have a friend of mine that says that in every other line. It's nigga this, nigga that, nigga this, it's nigga everything. But when you grow up in the hood, there's a certain level of subjectiveness that you are being conditioned by in society. And you take this wherever you go. You take it on the basketball court when you play ball. You take it with you when you go to school. You take it to you in the business offices when you have friends that you can talk to like that. The point of the matter is this, and I'm going to use a quote from one of my favorite people of all time, and that's Malcolm X. There are other ways the intelligent man can express himself, to describe himself, without using words of ignorance. And I think we have to become a little more aware of that. Read a little bit more. It'll help you with your vocabulary. This show was sponsored by Clean Connect 360 Cleaning Services. You point, we clean. So topic 2 is referencing still into topic 1, which is The N word is like a permanent tattoo. Now, what does that mean? That basically means those who are in charge, those who created the system and run the system, who have indoctrinated us with this name, which we have freely become very comfortable in using in our cultivation of society. It's almost like the boy who cried wolf, the analogy. You know, I see wolf, I fooled you. So in a reverse adverse aspect of that is they created this word and they created this word for us. We use this word and we use it in a form of endearment and in form of showing our affection to each other. But in all actuality, it has a very bad connotation behind it, especially when we use this word amongst each other in front of them. You know, I'm gonna get a little personal and I'm gonna give y'all something about me. You know, so when I was younger, I was a little reckless, you know, and I remember one day I was having a conversation with one of my boys. We was ordering some food, actually getting some halal food from the halal truck. And Polish brother with his brother was standing there. And, you know, I'm talking to my fellas and, you know, unfortunately, every word that's coming out of our mouth was ninjas and that and ninja this. And the man said to me, he said, you see how they talk to each other, you know? And at the time I was young, so it didn't really hit me the way that it did until I got older, you know? And then when I got older, I reflected on it. Long story short, me and the dude got into an argument and I landed up beating him up. And I felt bad about it, you know, later on. Not at the time, but later on I felt bad about it. And I felt bad about it because in my own way, I was upset at the fact that he was addressing something that we normally refer to each other in a loving manner in a very negative light, which in all actuality, he was right, because in the manner and how we were using it was in a negative light. I think it was more of a anger thing with me because he brought it up and I came at him because he brought it up, because of the color of his complexion. If it had been another brother or another Hispanic dude or Indian dude or Asian dude, I probably wouldn't have looked at it in the same manner. So this word is engraved on us. And the reason why we use the phrase permanent tattoo is because even when you get something removed on your skin, it's still in your blood. So that word is still in our blood, no matter how much we try to overcome it. And until as we as a whole in society start to educate ourselves more and read more and use words that are deferring to each other in a loving manner, that actually have an upfront loving manner, not taking a negative word and using a derogatory word in a loving manner, I think we will see much more out of society. You know, words manifest power. You know, that's why they stopped teaching kids how to write in school, because we were casting spells. So with that being said, let's try to be more cognitive of the words that we use and be more polite and loving to each other. This show was sponsored by Clean Connect 360 Cleaning Services. You point, we clean. So we're going to be addressing topic 3, which is why the word is so freely used in the entertainment business. What I truly believe is, again, not to sound too rhetorical, but the word has been used in many, many different avenues of life. And so what I think it is, and of course, you know, African American people, Black Americans, again, we have a way of taking something that's bad and making it sound good. So I think because of the culture of where we come from and the history behind what it was that we've experienced during our time being here, that word is freely used in the entertainment business because it is almost kind of a way to identify with the streets and the community and the people in the streets. if you notice, and if you listen to rap music, there's some songs where every other bar that the dude is saying is that word, you know? Again, when you use something and you use something in moderation with the proper allocation, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. But when you take something and you're overusing it to an abundance of where now your whole vocabulary derives around that word and that word alone. To the intelligent person, it makes you look like you have a very small brain. And you probably didn't watch any reading shows growing up as a kid either. Shows like Reading Rainbow. But in the entertainment business, it is something where you see it in TV shows, you see it in movies, you see it in performances, you see it in the lyrics that are being written. Even girls, you know, are using that word freely in lyrics now. So there used to be a edit mode, you know, on the radio stations when you would put a song out and it had that word in it. Sometimes they would reverse it where instead of saying nigga, it would be hugging, right? Because there's certain people that spell that word N-I-G-G-U-H as opposed to N-I-G-G-A or N-I-G-G-R. So they would use that word and they would flip it to where now they didn't have to necessarily block out that part of the song because they reversed the announcing of the word and how it's pronounced in the song or in the verse. Again, you know, I think what we have experienced during our time here and how we've been taught, a lot of it is wrong. You know, just from the simple vocabulary, from the dictionary, or just from the schooling system. So therefore, you don't have the proper tools in these places of scholastic education, and then you don't have the proper tools at home. So it's going to be very hard to express yourself in an intelligent way. And I think because in the entertainment business, it derives so much more around art, right? Which is more of a free expression of what a person's inner desires are, or just their thoughts, or just how they spiritually feel, that this word has encompassed a world of entertainment because of the status of how we've given it to the communities internationally too, because you hear kids saying it internationally as well too. So I think, you know, I'm being mindful on when you listen to certain songs and how that word is being used, just like when you hear it anywhere else, there's a certain frequency and a vibration that it will keep you at. So if you remove it, you can flourish. If you stay with it, you stay kind of stagnant, you know, and it has a tattering type of feeling to everything that's being done. So make sure when you say stuff, you say it with good intentions and with clarity. Up next, did you know? So don't go anywhere. This show was sponsored by Clean Connect 360 Cleaning Services. You point, we clean. Did you know a man by the name of Andrew Beard, who was an ex-slave, invented the Jenny Coupler system at the age of 48? The Jenny Coupler system was automatically linked and locked to two train cars as they bumped into each other, eliminating the need for workers to manually insert a metal pin and significantly reducing the risk of accidents and deaths. His invention of the Jenny Coupler automatics was revolutionized by railroad safety and given to mankind. Thank you for tuning in into the Real Source Podcast. I'm your host, JD. If you liked, please share and subscribe with a friend to YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, or Facebook channels. Be well, be kind, and be safe. I'm out.
I know you wanna ride, so baby, get with me.